Hello and Happy New Year. What better way to kick off 2020 than talking about how you can be a boss when it comes to meal planning and prepping and being totally in control of your nutrition. So I promised a couple weeks ago that I was going to kind of lay out the framework for how I plan out my meals and how I approach nutrition in general. This video is not going to be as long as I would need to actually talk about everything when it comes to nutrition, because nutrition cannot be combined into this little 5-minute video that I'm going to attempt to do for you. Hopefully it doesn't go much longer than that. But I will tell you that the way I approach nutrition, the way that I have learned to fuel my body over the last couple of years is based on a nutritional program, and I have just fallen in love with it. It has made me feel the absolute best. It has fueled my body, given me energy throughout the day, recovered from workouts, gotten me fueled for the workouts, all of the good stuff. So I will put some asterisks here that nutrition in general is not the same for everyone, but the kind of foundation of it all and the basic concepts are pretty much the same. Another asterisk, unless you have some kind of food intolerance or allergy or something, obviously not everything can be black and white, but I will try to keep this as simple as possible for you guys, because the nutrition program that I have incorporated into my life has way more in-depth education, information, videos, etc. When you actually do the program, but I'm going to try to kind of simplify it for you. So it's basically based on the concept of portion control, balanced macronutrients, so 40% healthy carbohydrates, 30% lean proteins, and 30% healthy fats. And then trying to either really reduce or completely cut out processed foods and sugars. So I will tell you that when you start approaching nutrition in a whole real foods type of mindset, everything becomes a lot simpler, and it's much easier to be able to kind of organize and have a framework for your meal planning and prepping. So the way that my kind of portion control works is that I have a certain amount of each kind of food category throughout the day that I'm trying to implement. And it's different depending on how active you are, if you're trying to lose weight, maintain your weight, gain muscle, if you're breastfeeding, if you're pregnant, again, with all the asterisks. But for me personally, for example, I try to get in 4 servings of vegetables a day and 4 servings of protein a day, 3 servings of fruit, 3 servings of carbs. So as you can see, this is not about cutting out foods. It's not about restricting. It's just about eating the right amount of healthy, whole, real foods that are going to fuel your body throughout the day, keep you energized, and make you feel fantastic. So when I approach my meal planning for the week or for when I'm working a stretch of shifts in a row, I do breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then snacks. I eat every 2 to 3 hours, and so that turns out to be 5 or 6 meals, which sounds kind of crazy to some people, but it is what allows me to kind of spread my nutrients out throughout the day, which is kind of how our body was designed to take in nutrients and actually use them, because it can only use a certain amount at a time. So I'm not even going to get onto all the different things when it comes to intermittent fasting, and there's a million different nutritional things out there. This is literally just what works for me. I am not claiming to be giving medical advice in any way, okay? Again, with the asterisks, guys. But when I do my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I try to, in each one of those main meals, have a vegetable, a protein, and a carb. And then between my snacks and kind of the additional like toppings or like flavor agents for my main meals, that is where I sprinkle in my healthy fats like avocado and hummus, and my fruits and my seeds and dressings, things like that. That is where I kind of sprinkle those in. But I start my base of my meal plan is breakfast, lunch, and dinner with those three main categories: the carb, veggie, and protein. And then I kind of go from there. I try to not overcomplicate things. I use meals that I've done before. I try not to like test out new recipes, more than like one new recipe per meal plan, or else it just gets overwhelming. I'm buying new ingredients. I'm like overwhelmed in the kitchen, and that's not what I'm going for. I'm going for simple and easy and not complicated. So that is just kind of one of the things I do. But sort of an example of a meal that I would put together using that framework would be, so a cup of broccoli, 3/4 of a cup of chicken, and I forget if this is a third or a fourth of a cup, but anyway, this amount of rice for my carbs. So that's kind of like the base meal. And then I add on, say like a healthy honey mustard dressing here. And that's it. Super simple. You can come up with it really quickly and reuse it throughout the week. And yeah, that's it. It's not complicated. That's what I do. And I try to also check my fridge first, check my pantry first, especially if you're on a budget, or if you're just trying to not be wasteful. Check what you have first. You never know what ingredients you have and what you can make from those. And the more and more you implement trying to use these whole real foods, the more that you will have them readily available and become comfortable with using them in different recipes. But my number one piece of advice is to start simple and not try to overwhelm yourself with a bunch of like Pinterest recipes. Just use what you know, and some seasoning and dressing, healthy dressings that you can make is a great step. But those things go so far when it comes to flavor and things tasting good. It doesn't have to be processed or fake or full of sugar to have a really wonderful taste. So I've totally gone over the time that I said I was going to go over, but hopefully that's kind of just a helpful little foundation for you guys. I will continue to share meal planning, prepping, nutritional advice as much as I can, but hopefully this is a good start for you guys, especially going into the year 2020. I hope you guys are having an awesome New Year's Day.